This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Well, joining us today is Nick Tulloch, the chairman of ECR Minerals. Thank you for your time today, Nick. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Mark. How are you?
Yes, very good. Thank you, Nick. We're just going to get a little bit of a quick catch-up just on the news today about the salary sacrifice. That's the extension to the salary sacrifice for the three directors of the company. They're extending that out until the end of June there. So just a couple of questions that I think come to mind, first of all. I mean, this looks like it's an increase there of sort of 30%. I picked up some comments on that people are wondering perhaps why the salary's gone up. But secondly, obviously the guys are quite happy to extend that as a salary sacrifice going forward as well.
Yeah, they are. I'll cover your first question to start with. No one's got a pay rise. The reason the number is bigger is they have extended the salary sacrifice for a longer period. In the past, we'd set the salary sacrifice at the equivalent of £10,000 worth of salary. And that would often sort of find us with the salary sacrifice ending at a rather odd date in the year. The three of them were very happy to extend for a further period, and the suggestion was, well, let's just pick the end of the quarter, let's pick the end of June. So it's a longer period they've sacrificed the salary for, and that's why it's at £13,000. There's certainly no pay rise. In actual fact, if anything, the cost of the board has gone down. When David stepped down from chairman and went as a non-executive, he also agreed to a voluntary small reduction in his salary to bring him in line with the other directors. So no increase in cost and actually a small reduction. And you're right, it's terrific. This is the third time that they've volunteered salary sacrifice. It started back in August, or the original salary sacrifice started back in August. That now takes them all the way through to June. So it's part of 11 months of the year that the company's had the benefit of that cash flow.
So everyone really who works for the company, except who works directly in the company, obviously not contractors, that kind of thing, you're all on salary sacrifice, i.e. you're getting remunerated in shares effectively, aligning for, well, some good luck in the field, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, this is always the plan. First of all, you're right. All five members of the senior management team, so the board, and so including me and also Mike Whitlow, we're all predominantly remunerated in shares. When Mike and I joined back in September, we had an arrangement which is essentially indefinite, whereby we receive £1,000 of cash per month, and the balance of our remuneration is in shares based on the performance of the company.
Okay.
And we think it's an arrangement that aligns as well with the shareholders. We think the main salary sacrifice, of course, aligns everyone with the shareholders, and equally it preserves the cash. So in other words, we're spending the cash in the ground and not on the team, which has to be in the company's best interest.
Indeed. And just thinking on putting the cash in the ground, of course, we know what's going on over at Creswick. We are still awaiting some further assays from there, but things going quite well so far, I think, from talking to Mike. Maybe you've got some comments on that before we perhaps talk about something that pops up on the ECR Twitter page the other day at Blue Mountain. But I mean, any comments on Creswick, first of all, before we talk about Blue Mountain?
Yeah, on Creswick, we've completed 2 drilling programs. The first was Davy Road. That was announced at the start of the year, and then more recently we've announced the results of Cuboid Hill. They've both been very interesting in terms of what they've produced. Cuboid Hill in particular, what we believe we've now found with the latest drilling program is a much wider resource structure. The gold has always been seen as very nuggety or very narrow veined in the Cuboid Hill or Creswick region, and the drilling campaign that we have just completed there shows that actually there may be a slightly broader structure. An example I keep using to people is a few months back when I was in Australia. Adam Jones and I stood in front of an old open pit in just north of our Ballaston tenements. That's an example of the possibility, maybe that we could have in Creswick if future results continue to back up what we think we found in Cuboid Hill.
Okay, good. And then what's this all about, Blue Mountain, then, that video on Twitter there? I know we haven't really spoken about Blue Mountain much at all with ECR. So, I mean, this video, is this suggesting some renewed interest from the board in this project?
Well, I mean, I think there's been some ongoing interest, but yeah, your words are absolutely right. Blue Mountain has not really featured prominently in the discussion that ECR has had about its assets. Over the last year in Queensland, we focused on Lulworth. There was an idea to look at something in Hurricane, and we then took a license in an area called Condapringa. More recently, we've been talking about Victoria, as you and I just discussed a moment ago. Blue Mountain was acquired around about a year ago, and it sat sort of prominently, but not really with much detail in our portfolio. And we put up on Twitter a couple of days back, when it was yesterday, some footage actually shot by the previous owners, which shows previous work done on the property. We think, based on the technical analysis we've done, we think there is some scope to some potential near-term production there. Now, there's a lot more work to be done. I'm always very cautious when I talk, and it's easy to get overexcited. But I think with the trenching program, which is something we'll look at in this year's work program, there is, I think, some scope to believe that Blue Mountain, that are sort of, as they sat at the sort of the foot of our Queensland tenements, actually could have a little bit more to it than first thought. So I guess the tweet is watch this space. There's quite a lot more work to be done. But within the video, you can see very visible gold and the potential for what could come next.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Nick Tulloch, the chairman there of ECR Minerals, for giving us a bit of a short update on things going on. And I'm looking forward to speaking a bit more detail perhaps next week with Mike.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.